didn't we had one scene last time? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So it might be a good idea to start with sort of reintroducing our characters and kind of giving a brief summary of like how they got where they are and what they're doing there, or whatever seems important or interesting about them to you.
I'll go ahead and start because I have a question that I want to hit on the lines and veils realm of things. So Robyn, our torch, used to be a hawker, but ever since the community was kind of scattered, she has taken to some. She's taken to some of the ritual tending, and the witches are specifically the Dirty Flutter, which I can't wait to see in play, and Letting the Blood, which is the one that I want to talk about for a second, because like I've been thinking about like how like what kind of like implements and what that ritual kind of looks like for Robyn. And I'd had this notion back in the very first season about like, because there was this whole faction of this whole like gang faction that wanted the blood of people from or of void touched people, right? And so I got to thinking like, how would Robyn end up like performing this ritual? And like doing a little bit of like digging into like bloodletting, I came across this 19th century device called a scarificator. Is anyone familiar with those? They're like spring-loaded or they're like spring-loaded mechanisms that have like blades contained within a casing. And like I read about that and like like content advisory, I'm going to talk about blood. I figured that was cool since letting the blood was one of the things, but like if I like get gross, please like stop me like with the X in the chat or on camera or whatever. But so I was looking at that and I was and I saw that like barbers who would do bloodletting would sometimes use those in combination with like another like clicking that link and it's going to come up in a second. Yeah, that's exactly it. So I had seen that those were used in concert with a process called cupping, which is like seen sometimes in like the massage adjacent world, and it was like referred to as wet cupping. And I thought that was like a really interesting way of going about that, and I think that might be a neat way for that to show up on screen. But I also didn't want to like. I wanted everyone to have a chance to chime in and determine like just whether that's like too gross or if that implies too much, or like if that's a ooh, having heard about that, that's a nope.
I don't know how comfortable I am with that, just because I was a self-harmer as a kid with the cutting and stuff. So I'm like, I think leeches would probably be more up my alley if that's okay. But
okay,
yeah,
no, that totally works. Like one of the other things that we had like on the table was like these portable gardens. And so like it would definitely make sense that would also be like a habitat for those. So like I guess given that, like how do folks feel about leeches? ?
Cool with it.
Cool. Yeah, the degree to which they mutate and are void touched as a function of taking on blood from the void touched, I think is a huge open question mark. Then, one of the things that I do want to like keep incorporated though from the from the barber stuff that I was reading about though is like I like the idea of Robyn also like cutting people's hair and stuff as a function of all this. So I think that's probably, I think that ritual is probably one that that when it is done with our leeches that we carry around with us in mobile garden habitats. I think that's also like an interesting thing that we can pull on screen, and very different from what we had in the World of Torch last season, which I think is neat. So thank you for indulging me that. Let's see, not having been on screen yet, and I know Lark has not been on screen yet either. I'm interested in the two of us having a scene together. And Bethany, if it's okay, I would love if we were doing the ritual, and we can, like, I know I have like moves that can end up being botch a ritual, exposing yourself to risk or ridicule. I'm going to let you choose whether that's something that you want to do. But if not, like, I think it would be cool if we had one of those ritual scenes, maybe as like an opener tonight. Cool. What else can I tell you about Robyn?
I noticed that your weapon is a stiletto. Just for flavor, as a barber, would you maybe have like a pearl-handled straight razor, or? Oh,
the stilettos are definitely my shoes.
Oh, even better then. Never mind.
Yeah. No, I did struggle with the notion of like what is the implement for bloodletting and all of that, with like sterilization of medical equipment. And I know that we've got the medical equipment hookup to a degree through Rezzi, but I also, I don't know, question mark. So I think that it's probably whatever whatever shears and whatever we can keep sharp.
I mean, we could have stolen stuff before we escaped too. So I imagine there's all kinds of interesting implements.
Cool. I know that I have mostly now just like talked about like one specific thing on the sheet for Robyn. So anything else that y'all would like to know? I should say Robyn is a visibly trans person.
Great. Thanks for letting us know that.
I actually don't know that I did know that. I think I assumed that from last
time. That's I figured like naming it would be a thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I can go next if that's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi all, I'm Ferret, also Sawyer. I literally do not care which name you use to describe me. I use he, him pronouns, but again, ambivalent on those as well. I'm playing Rezzi Nocturnal, who is our tiger. Gender-wise, he/they are a gargoyle. I'm still quite lovingly deciding what that means. And they have a gang that has clean medical supplies and a fuck ton of chains and rusty pipes. Because if you can't beat them with your words, beat them.
Excellent. All right. Anyone have any questions about Rezzi?
I feel like one of the first scenes that we should do today should be finishing up the last scene that we did last time.
Yeah.
That we kind of just left at a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many questions.
Who are they?
Yeah. Cool. I guess since I am unmuted, I'll go ahead and introduce my character so I have an excuse to be unmuted. Yeah, hi, I'm Bethany. They, them, or whatever. I have very little preference with regards to pronouns. I am playing Lark, who's also they, them. Their gender is void, as in like null and void, as in not applicable gender is for other people. They have a compact frame. They're, I think, fairly short, but stronger than they look. They have shifty eyes that kind of notice everything, but don't really stop and focus on anything. And they almost never make eye contact with anyone. They wear work clothes. The heaviest, roughest work clothes they could steal. The more armor-like, the better. They also have a prosthetic leg that they've had for a long time. They don't even really think about it anymore. The only time it affects their life normally is that after a day of walking through the marsh, only one foot hurts. They have very short, almost stubbly hair because it was shaved in the institute because it's easier to attach sensors onto bare skin. And yeah, while they were in institute, they before they had sort of this latent, uncontrolled connection to the maelstrom. But because they had that, the institute took a lot of interest in them, and that was not good. That was a really bad time. But they came out of it with the ability to open their brain on purpose, and 2 psychic gifts, which are storm sheltering, which is they can kind of shield another person from the worst of the maelstrom, mostly by just taking it onto themselves, which sucks, but they've learned to deal with it by just kind of, I think, checking out and waiting. They know it's not going to kill them, so they just wait for it to go away. And also unearthing, which is the reason they're going to have to open their brain sooner or later, even though they really don't want to. It's they've made this trip before from this city all the way to the queer enclave, but they did it while kind of possessed by the maelstrom. I don't know how that happened. I assume we might find out in play. We might never find out. Either way is fine. But either way, they don't remember much, just little flashes. And but they're pretty sure if they can get back into that state, they'll know the way. But there's a problem with that, which is that they might have murdered someone while in that state before. And so even on top of not wanting to do a thing that they were forced to do over and over in the institute, they really, really don't want to deal with that knowledge. So that's where Lark is right now. Peter or Sarah, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. So I'm Sarabelle, she, her pronouns, and I am playing Ezra, she, they pronouns. Ezra is a hawker, and she can deliver things, and she's also specialized in bodyguarding in exchange for whispered secrets and dependency. And at this point, I think she's doing just a lot of the grunt work in defending this caravan as they get to wherever they need to go, that is in the direction away from the Institute. And hopefully she's trying to get back to her family, but is that a long shot? Maybe, probably.
I don't think so. We're all going the right direction, at least.
Vaguely.
Kind of, yeah. Right, cardinal direction. We're going west. Whether that's close enough or not is up in the air.
Yeah.
Right, and finishing it off. Hi, I'm Peter. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Burton, who is the arrival. And he's very... I think one of the things I realized after last week is that he's very used to the apocalypse now. The apocalypse part is not the weird part. The weird part for him is this queer enclave where sometimes to him the people are stranger than the world they exist in, which he's used to the world just being the weird thing, and he deals with that and doesn't really have to have it respond to him as much. And now he's really just kind of trying to figure out his way. Sort of one of the MVP parts of his character is that he has a wonderful dog, Bella, who so far everybody seems to like. And I don't think he uses it on purpose as a way to get into things, because if he had his way, he'd probably try and get out of a lot of things. I think Bella's what drags him into human situations. And he doesn't think he's a good person, but his actions continually shout over his "I'm not a good person" spiel, and he's just trying to find his way. And Robyn's trying to help with that, I think, and we'll see how that plays into things. But I don't think Burton is super committed to anything right now. But that's always a nice place to start, because then there's yeah. He's way down in the trash with the rest of us. That is absolutely true. Oh God, he is like a cuddly raccoon. Thank you guys. I'm happy. And I'm happy. Don't tell Burton that. He'll get upset. But maybe he won't. I don't know. I'm kind of playing it by ear, but that's kind of the fun part with this. And with that, the only thing that I absolutely wanted to see tonight was the end to that previous scene, and everything else I'm totally playing by ear, which is, I think, what this is.
Awesome. And on the note of things we want to see, you look over at the lines and veils. I added one that you can rephrase however you like, Ferret. But is there anything else we definitely don't want to see?
Not that comes to my mind at the moment.
Okay, cool. Yeah, as a reminder, our lines that we just are not going to have at all are sexual abuse and coercion, extreme violence toward animals and kids, and sexual contact with minors. And the things we're kind of just going to be a little vague about are suicide, torture, and detailed cutting implements / blood, or however you would like to word that. But we also can just use the script change tools, rewind, pause, fast forward. I think the definitions of that are pretty self-explanatory, but does anyone have any questions about how to use those?
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, all right. So anyone want to go ahead and recap the very short amount of play that we had last session?
So from what I remember, Rezzi chose the worst time to get high. Like, that's literally the name of the move.
Absolutely the worst.
Yeah, but like, just to highlight that's a move that he used, just to get really high. And then Burton made the inadvertent mistake of coming along with Bella and then going, well, how bad can these mushrooms be? He only ate one, but like, he's not a discourager, so that might already be working in or against him. And so then danger seems to have it's on the horizon. It hasn't quite gotten here yet, but we all, and by we all I mean Burton, Rezzi, and then we did come across Ezra, because I know Rezzi, in his extremely high state, was like, I need my things, take me to my things. And I helped him. And then Ezra was like, what are you idiots doing? I very much remember that part, because I tried squirming out of being one of the idiots, and it didn't work.
Nope.
Nope, definitely still one of the idiots. And it's one of the old school. If you're not against them, you're with them. And it's like, yeah. I didn't stop him from eating the mushrooms. And we're not even going to go into how many I ate. So, but that's what I remember. What? Someone else, feel free to jump in. I'm trying to remember what the danger was that was on the horizon.
The danger, I remember parking right outside the house with a joint motorcycle, like welded together, like in a carriage kind of thing. And they had guns, which does not bode well.
Yeah. Also, I did have one quick question. So Ezra was with a bunch of kids?
I was calling Rezzi's gang children.
Okay, got it. I was like, where did the children come from? I'm totally cool with them being there, but I was curious whose they were. Cool. Okay, so I guess since we started here, let's go ahead and resolve this one and then jump to Robyn's ritual or whatever it was Barry had in mind. Yeah, so this 2.5 motorcycles on a truck bed pulls up to a stop in front of this house that you're all standing in front of right now. There are 4 people on it. 2 of them in the back have guns that they're just sort of holding in the air, and they're all kind of yelling, and they look happy, but whether that's happy as in, yeah, we're gonna go kick some ass, or happy as in just we're partying at dawn on this weird vehicle in the like abandoned outskirts of this town. It's hard to tell. But it stops, and the driver gets off of his motorcycle and kind of looks at the others and kind of gestures at them, and they lower their guns in the sense that they're no longer waving them over their head, and they're not aimed at you either, but they're in a position where they could be aimed at you in a hurry.
Rezzi is still, I think, like, sort of way I remember it, like he had just gotten to like the threshold of the door and like he's leaning on Burton, and I think he realizes, like, from like maybe a small whimper, that he's been leaning too hard on a wounded man, and he pulls back and Ezra. What do they want?
Give me a sec. Why am I always the person that has to? Okay.
He looks at you. You can see his pupils like getting slightly bigger and bigger and bigger.
Just in slow motion.
Yeah.
I mean, I could ask this time if you're gonna.
It's fine. You're probably gonna be like him in like a couple minutes anyway.
Uh-huh.
The driver comes up to you. He does not have a gun, or at least not visibly, and he just kind of like stalks up to you and yells, "What the fuck are you people doing here? Can't you read a fucking tag?"
Tag?
He points to some graffiti on the side of the house next to this one.
Like, oh shit!
Fuck.
Is this your territory?
Yeah, this is our territory. What? Did you think it was just free for the taking? Anybody could be here?
Yeah, kinda.
I just assumed it was random graffiti.
The guy just looks at you like, okay. All right, look, whatever. I have been sent to get rid of you. you need to get out of here. I don't want to kill anybody. I'd rather not. It's a lousy way to start the day.
It is.
I would agree.
How fast do you need us out of here?
I think I'm going to spend one of my my tokens for a strong move. I want to ask, what resources are they making do without right now? And I think Rezzi does it. It's like, but maybe we could trade first.
They need fuel. You can hear the vehicle, and it doesn't sound like it's getting enough fuel. And I think you, as a gang leader who's probably had to deal with this issue before, know that that's because they have throttled it back so much so that it just doesn't use much, and it's not running as well as it should.
Okay, and out of character, do we have access to fuel, or is it a narrative we can say we do?
You would have to go find so the town that you're in, I'm gonna say that, we would all know this. It isn't entirely abandoned. And it's not only inhabited by these gangs. You're in kind of the outskirts, which is abandoned, and the area right around the institute is pretty empty right now because people were scared off by the maelstrom. But that they didn't empty the entire town.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some society intact.
You know what? I have the varied scarcities.
Yeah, there you go. You can read that one.
Yeah. So let's see. The varied scarcities desires are suffering without and uncomfortable bargains. And so I think that the driver turns to Rezzi and says, "Look, you can hear the thing sputtering. We've already traded as many people as we can away for any fuel that we can find within driving range. I was supposed to drive this down to make a statement, but now, what? You're gonna trade me fuel from my own from my people's own place?"
Oh, and I do not. And Rezzi's like, I think, really high at the moment, and it's like he feels really bad for a bit. He looks at Ezra. It's like, do you have anything?
We'd have to make a trip out for it. We try.
We could do that and maybe find another place out there at the same time. Two birds.
How long do you guys think it'll take? Because, I mean, if they want us out of here.
He kind of looks at you for a minute. He says, "Wait, are you people from that lab place? I don't, whatever they called it. It's
The Institute?
paper said it was zero ground or
Yeah, and Rezzi just like points to his tattoos all over his face.
Doesn't matter. It's fucked up. We're out now.
Did you people do that? The thing that scared everybody off. Everybody left. Well, not the whole, but right around that. It's all empty. All the buildings around it are empty now.
If we had the power to do that, you think we'd be squatting in some fucking houses?
Hell, I don't know. I don't understand this stuff. If you did it, I'm not complaining. It's more space for us.
We helped. And speaking of helping, and he pulls out the drugs and offers them to them.
The mushrooms?
Yes, mushrooms.
Oh my god.
His eyes go kind of wide. It's like, You people are not from around here.
Do them after we're gone. You don't have to do them right now.
Wait, what do you mean? Definitely not from around here.
You, God, you have no idea how much these are worth, do you? Look,
And just how much are these worth?
let's put it this way: they're worth 24 hours. When I come back here tomorrow morning, I don't want to see any of you people around here.
Hand them over.
I'll hand them over.
Do you have any more on you?
No.
How many did you eat?
Oh,
Do you know?
4.
Oh my.
We'd finally gotten. And he like stops about like what he's about to say. He's like,
4.
I can obviously stand it. And I'm saying this like to the side of the driver.
Clay's shaking his head.
I'm gonna use one of my weak moves, and I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm going to threaten or coerce someone, and I'm just gonna kind of grab Rezzi and be like, "Stop talking. You're making it worse."
I think Rezzi like his pupils actually shrink a bit looking in your eyes, but he does clam the fuck up.
Okay. Oh, I don't like that. I felt bad.
And he walks back to the vehicle and gets on the motorcycle and kind of waves at it. And he says, tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
And turns, very wide turn. This thing does not it's not very maneuverable, but he makes it around. He has to kind of like back up a little bit, and then it's like a 7-point turn on this cracked, mostly dirt, some asphalt still road, and goes back toward town.
Yeah, and I think as they're driving away is right about the point that my vision starts to all the motion of the moving vehicle starts to blur for me, and I go, oh, this might be what you were. Oh,
shit.
I think that when that mushroom starts kicking in, though, I think that you get kind of a mirrored vision, because like as you're seeing the vehicle like driving away, your vision kind of splits, and you can see like the mirror image of it, and they're both like coming together like in the center of your vision. So one's leaving and one's coming back, meeting right before you.
Oh God. Okay. Wait. Is it leaving or is it coming back? I can't tell anymore.
It's leaving. They're gone for now. We have one day to get the shit that we need and get the fuck out.
Or we could. Okay. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah. Now we're 2 people down.
Yeah, and Rezzi's like, no, get me to my supplies. I can stop this stupidity.
Fine. And help them back inside.
Yeah, and I think it'll like we can cut the scene of like Rezzi like tap like telling Ezra what to do. Like Ezra's like tapping on a needle. It's like, oh, this isn't going to be fun.
It's like I got to make sure all the air is out of this, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with that being the end of the scene if everyone else is.
Very cool with that. Gonna be back to my old where's Bella self later.
Where is Bella? Did Bella run off?
No, Bella hasn't left my side, but I feel like with my vision the way it is, Bella is here and somewhere else.
Bella's actually solving the problems.
Yeah. Bella has learned rocket science for this very task.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Do we want to like cut over to like slightly earlier with Robyn and Lark?
Sure, yeah.
Just so that way we don't like we can like end the scene with like the motorcycle like revving and coming up, right? Does that sound like a
Sure, yeah. That's
okay, cool. So the letting the blood, I had decided that was like to help like relieve symptoms of the void and the psychic maelstrom. Is that something that you would have come to me for, or do you want to frame something differently?
I think that I don't think they would need that at the moment because they've been avoiding it. But
or has the ritual been what's helping you avoid it? That's also a possibility. So I mean, if you don't want to, that's totally cool. We can I can frame it as being with one of my chosen sisters or something.
Yeah, let's do that because I can't think of a reason that that I would. Well, yeah, I guess it could be avoiding it. I don't think so.
Okay. So what's brought you then to me performing this ritual with let's say it's Mutuel?
I have been lectured by Ezra, I think. Maybe Rezzi, probably Ezra, not to wander off on my own without telling people where I was going. So I have found you in order to tell you where I'm going and invite you to come along if you want. So I'm standing there just watching while you do this and waiting for you to finish.
Okay. So let's see. I want to look at my weak moves here real quick. And my lures. Ooh, when someone participates in one of your rituals for the first time, they gain a token. So that's out there. But that depends on whether or not you want to participate. My other weeks, I don't think I'm going to ostracize a follower. If someone has a question or problem that I don't have the answer to, I'm totally ready for that. I don't think that I want to botch right now, so we'll see. And Ferret, thank you for picking up the psychic maelstrom there, just in case. So in the house where we've occupied a couple of these, right? And I think in the house where Robyn has set up, there's a room with this must have been used as a recording studio or something. Maybe they did a podcast or something before the apocalypse here, because there's baffling up on the walls. Just in case people are physically uncomfortable, or if the psychic maelstrom takes hold, then at least it's a place that that we can try and contain it somewhat. And so Mutuel is lying down on a table in here that's been long since looted of any of the electrical and digital equipment that was in here. But she's laying down on that and has a bundle of cloth that's wrapped up underneath her neck at the top of the table. Robyn is wearing a long coarse fibered robe that is open, and underneath the robe, Robyn's left arm is wrapped in a light colored, almost like a bandage, just a long thin piece of fabric that's kind of like eggshell off-white. And on the down the other arm, another piece of fabric that's been same kind of fabric that's been dyed red. She has those wrapped up her arms, and then like down her torso, the two are kind of like spiraled. So you have like the white and red like barber pole motif down to her waist. And as she as Mutuel is on the table here, Robyn puts her just like puts her fingers through her hair for a moment, and then like goes over to the side of the room where there's like a ceramic pot that's got like a little bit of soil down in the bottom of it, and a handful of these leeches. And she takes Mutuel's arm and rolls the sleeve all the way up on her right arm, and takes one leech, puts it at the wrist, another leech at the at the elbow, and then one up on Mutuel's bicep. And as the leeches kind of take hold and begin the letting of the blood, she goes up to Mutuel's head and begins like takes her hair, like runs some fingers through them, and just gets down to the end, and just begins like trimming like an inch off of Mutuel's hair, just to do some simple care for it, and try and like keep Mutuel calm during the ritual. And I'm going to use one of my weak moves, Lark, since you're there, and I'm going to ask you, what does your character think of me?
I admire you. I this so I didn't think there was anything wrong with you before, but this like transformation that you have made of yourself is I'm impressed with it, and I think that I think you have handled like this whole situation better than any of us.
And so, knowing that, Robyn turns to you and says, "I don't know why you're looking at me like that. I'm only doing what I ever did, just finding what people need and helping get it to them."
If I may, since I am being the psychic maelstrom, I think Lark, you're looking at Mutuel, correct? The arm with the leeches, and like this small droplet of blood from one that's getting fat just sort of rolls down her arm. And what do you see in that? Like, you get a sensation of, and I don't think I'll ask Lark this, but like a sensation of what Mutuel thinks of Robyn. And I think I want to ask one of the other players. This is like what does Mutuel think of this ritual with Robyn? And like how did like and this imprints in Lark's like sensory.
I'm just gonna say, like, we haven't established like anything about Mutuel or Dallas, so like go wild with it. Like, they're just my chosen sisters. So like, I'm whoever wants to offer whatever. Trust me, I'm into it.
So I think Mutuel implicitly trusts Robyn. The leeches could be another story. And there's the worry that as their own sort of entities themselves, the trust can only go so far before there's some level of interference, so to say. So I think Mutuel is nervous but trusting.
Okay.
Do you want to push that farther, Ferret?
Yeah, I think that nervousness, Lark can feel it, and like the intensity of it gets higher as the blade is near the ears, scrapes against the skin slowly as the hair comes down, and it's just like this. You can feel the tension, and like this weird sisterly tension. But sisters don't always get along.
And when I finish the trim that I was doing, I'll roll up Mutuel's other sleeve, and I'll take these 3 leeches, and I think Barry doesn't know how you actually get leeches off other than like salt and stuff. Maybe. Sorry?
Alcohol.
Hold them.
No, alcohol's perfect. Alcohol's perfect because that's something I can repurpose from former Robyn. So Robyn has like a small flask with like the seaweed rot gut that she used to distill, and since she's not drinking it anymore, she takes she takes like a little strip of cloth and kind of like soaks it in it, and strokes each of the leeches with it to get them to loosen their grips, before moving them over to Mutuel's other arm. Bethany, what else do you want Lark to get to do in this scene?
I mean, so I think I'm just waiting. I think also I haven't watched this ritual before. I probably went out and got you the leeches, but I haven't watched this before because Lark has their own issues involving blades and blood. So yeah, I think in a weird echo of the way back at the beginning, I have been avoiding this this particular ritual. I'm okay with your other ritual, and I didn't know you were doing this, but I walked in on it, and it's not as bad as I thought.
And like visibly, like how does that show up? Because like one of the things that we put on here was that like I used to see like your nervous energy one way, and now I see it a different way. Mm-hmm. But like, how can I tell that you're more at ease with this than you expected to be?
I think you would have expected Lark to, if they walked in on this, to like immediately be like, sorry, leave, and close the door. And they don't do that. They just sort of they come in, they close the door, and they just sort of stand there, silently and respectfully, but they don't leave immediately, and they just watch without interrupting or anything.
So I think after I've moved the leeches over to Mutuel's other arm, like I lean down and whisper to her, just a few more minutes now, and then when I stand up, I say, like I point over to, there's like an office chair in here, and I kind of gesture over towards it, and I say, I can give you a trim if you'd like. We don't have to lay you down on the table.
And my hair is like an inch long max at the moment.
Oh, okay.
No, I thought I'd let it grow out, but thanks.
Sorry, character portrait threw me for a loop.
Yeah, that is.
Okay, but I think Robyn definitely still says that and like flashes you like an old familiar smile.
Yeah, I sit down in the chair to just kind of watch and wait. I don't make any comments on how this isn't as bad as I thought, but like I think depending on how observant Robyn feels like being, I think she probably sees the like them she's like at first, a little bit creeped out by this and then realizing, oh no, it's fine, and sitting down and watching, like actually it's kind of nice.
And I think that like as I then go to like start collecting the leeches again, I think that's when we hear the motorcycle pull up. Yeah. Does that work? And then we can cut from there and then figure out how we want to frame whatever next thing we have is.
Sure.
Cool. Psychic Maelstrom, was there anything else that you wanted to push in there?
Oh, I think like once you hear like the 2 gunshots, 2 of the leeches on Mutuel's arm fall off, dead from the seaweed rot gut.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, and I like seeing those two fall off and just like trying to like collect the one and get it back into the soil. Oh, I wonder what I do with these. I think I collect the 2 up, and if they need to show up in a later scene, then they will, and if not, then nothing creepy happened.
Cool. Yeah, so I think maybe I hear the the engines revving and then the like gunshots and go, but like sneak around back to the other house just in time to see like it them like the guy getting back on the vehicle.
And I think I get like Mutuel seeing that you're like out the room at that, like I know that Rezzi's out there. I know that you're headed out and should be okay. So like I finished taking care of Mutuel before I come back out of the house. And then question mark.
So I think oh, go ahead.
Do we need to chime in now, like what's happening? If that's okay, I know what will like what you will hear from Rezzi's end. Which like as soon as like the motorcycle's like completely out of sight and like they're like you guys don't know it's not from the shot, and some other people might, but you hear Rezzi just as soon as like he's knocked out of his highness, something goes flying in the house. It breaks. You just hear, "Fuck!"
I was going to say, since we were like pause there for a second, does it make sense to like take a break now and then come back and like think ideas? Question mark.
Oh, that's.
I think that's a great plan.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, that'd be
Cool.
perfect.
What time is it?
It is 8:58, so perfect timing.
Yeah,
So
like
back at,
it's like 5 after the hour, long enough
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. 9:05. Parabella, are you back?
Apocalypse Kitty!
Hi, kitty.
Yeah.
Now I am.
I can't tell if I'm roboting or if everyone else is roboting.
You're not roboting right now.
Yeah, you're fine to me.
Because it sounded like Peter was just making Arrested Development.
Now you're roboting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell what's happening.
Yes.
It's a curse we've brought on this world.
Oh, the digital realm is the worst.
Yeah.
The digital realm and the psychic maelstrom combined to make annoying internet problems.
I think we just formed to create Comcast, but
Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
that's good.
Okay, so we have 24 hours, and I think how does everyone feel like reacting to that?
I feel like reacting quite badly as I like this place already and I don't want to leave. And I'm quite angry that I did not recognize that as a gang tag. I feel like I'm losing my edge.
It's been a while, yeah.
Oh, you probably weren't expecting to see one here.
I was totally honest before. I thought it was very interesting graffiti, and I didn't point it out to anyone because I was like, huh, that's different. Because that's basically what I've been doing the whole apocalypse.
Since you're the one that noticed it, Burton, I want to know what it looked like.
Oh, dang it. I've fallen into the trap. Yeah, I think you know how there are those stencils that the circular ones that have a lot of different points in them, and if you put the stencil in a place where it can't move, and then you spin the pencil around in one of the holes so that it makes these circles that kind of go around and start sort of being concentric inside of each other.
The spirograph.
Thank you. It's a spirograph.
Barry got it the millisecond before I did, but yeah.
Yeah, I had my eyes closed because I was imagining it. But yes, absolutely. It basically looks like the graffiti version of a spirograph, so it's not perfect or anything, but the circles never seem to end. You can't find where the starting or ending point is. It's like a graffiti Ouroboros.
That must have taken a long time to put up.
Yeah, they, what they lack in fuel, they have a lot of spray paint.
Awesome.
That's fantastic.
I actually think that the house that we're at, this is the most elaborate version of that. There are similar ones on other places within this territory, but they are not as overdone. It's almost like this was the original, and then afterwards someone kind of said to the graffiti artist, we actually don't have unlimited spray paint.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the biggest houses, and we were drawn to it because was the most well stocked in the beginning.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of skimming off the top of what was already here.
Nice.
Which might be bad when we leave.
It might. Right. I want to say we came to this neighborhood, like stopped at this specific area because it's the closest neighborhood to like where Lark remembers, like the last place they remember being before the whole psychic maelstrom thing. Um, so like this is a good starting point for this trip. But it does mean that like the part of town with society intact, actually kind of intact, is a decent walk away probably.
So should we just frame this as like the community leaders, which is us, have gathered, and we can figure out like what the situation is and figure out what the plan to move forward is.
That
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so like I'll just open it by and we're in the front room of this big house, right? That Rezzi has come out of his mushroom stupor in, and it sounded like that was like syringe driven. Yeah. Okay.
Is Burton still?
I think it's like a very low amount. I don't think I think he saw the reaction Rezzi had and immediately went, I am going to do everything in my power to act like, no, it's done. I don't know if it actually is, but boy, is he going to work overtime to make sure no one notices.
So I'll open it then with Robyn asking Rezzi. So you gave them everything that you had, and that's bought us what, 22 more hours now?
I gave them a good chunk of what I had, but yeah, it bought us some time.
Wait, I thought you said that was everything.
I lied.
Okay, that can't come back to bite us in the ass anytime later. Okay.
If we're gone, no, it can't.
You sneaky bitch, I love you.
And Rezzi will just do like a finger gun cock at Ezra.
All right.
That actually, okay, real quick before I forget, I do want to use another weak move of mine. And I'm going to go ahead and ask Ezra, does your character feel okay with me being here right now?
At this particular moment in time, Burton is of use. He has capabilities that are beneficial to the group. As a person, couldn't give a shit.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Well, Burton, I'll turn like you using a move question into me using a move question, because you're obviously not feeling a sense of belonging here. So how could I deepen your character's sense of belonging and purpose in this place?
So it seems like something that's been highlighted over and over as the arrival is that I stick out like a sore thumb. You know, I may be familiar with the apocalypse, but everyone here is just very different. And I am different and not in a very complicated way. So to deepen that, I want to be treated like I'm a part of things without drawing too much attention to it. If that helps at all, because I think Burton's whole thing is that the more people draw attention to the fact that he's out of place. He knows it, but it just reminds him further.
Okay, I'm gonna think about that and what that means in this space.
Yeah.
So,
oh, sorry, real quick. Because actually, I think the other thing is specifically in this very space right now. You made the comment about how it's gathering all the sort of leaders, and Burton is here and does not at all feel like he's one of the leaders at all. He has no idea like why he's still even in the room, and people haven't told him to leave.
Okay, I'm going to push on that a little, I think. Kind of looking around. Okay, what do we need that we don't have yet?
Well, I mean, from what they said, they needed fuel.
What
we don't.
We need.
What do we need?
We don't have.
Oh,
Water.
I sure hope we're leaving. I don't want to.
Clean water. We can collect a little bit with the rain, but that's not going to last all of us. However fucking long we're going to be out here.
No, I agree. We need clean water. Okay. Do we need anything while we're in proximity to civilization?
And what can we take before they realize it's gone?
This is going to seem maybe a little bit arbitrary, but does anyone know where we might be able to find some actual dog food? I feel like I haven't properly fed Bella in a while, and I just want to make sure that.
I imagine there's a grocery store. Part of this town is still. It can't all be empty. We'd have to dig around in this place, but I'll bet we could find some change.
Yeah. I don't think I think out of character, Burton hasn't stuck around in one place long enough, and I think it's only now that he's like. I think Bella's helping him kind of come back down to reality. She's licking his hand, and I think that's when he kind of looks down and realizes, like, I have been so concerned with the fact that I'm an awful person, that I am an awful person and haven't fed my dog. This is awful.
I mean, people have been feeding our scraps here and there, but yeah.
Oh, well, okay.
It might be good.
Yeah, but like, yeah, actually that does make me feel better. Yeah, emotional support, Bella.
Yes, I think the part I'm going to push on here is point out, look, Burton, you're going to look the least strange if you go talk to people.
Yeah, they're right.
He can't go yet, though.
What? Why not?
You're injured.
No, I mean...
And if he goes, he can get help and medicine that we can use later.
I'd rather patch him up first and send him out at least securely and hope he brings back more.
Do you want me to go with you?
When I'm okay with that. I don't have. Are you sure?
It's a long walk, and I don't trust that you won't get yourself killed.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll take that. And I think Burton's even like just kind of like a little bit like eyes down, like, oh, not got it. Yeah, I probably, yeah. He's like, I've survived this long, and then he looks down and he's like, I'll take the help.
I think I'm like searching every corner and couch cushion and come up with a little bit of money, which I come over and I hand to Burton. And I also hand you it's just a folded piece of paper. And it's if, like, I know this is a long shot, but if you happen to find an open post office, can you mail this for me?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'd go with you, but well, I don't know if I should show my face around here. I don't know.
I'll need your help here, Lark. Rezzi, will Levy and Velour be joining you?
And Rezzi looks confused, like, I don't think Rezzi expected to be going out with Burton and Ezra because the face. And he looks confused, like, I don't think I can go, but that is a good idea. Levy has been wanting to prove himself. And Burton, Rezzi looks over at Burton, and I think, like, it's like one eye's focused on Burton, one eye's focused on Ezra. It's like he asked this question to both of us. Like, do you guys agree with that? Do you think you could watch him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not personally worried about it, but I guess it's somewhat up to. I mean, I want Ezra to speak too.
As long as he's armed.
Of course, he's my son. But I think if they see that we have some teenagers and younger people with us, they may be more forthcoming.
Not a bad point. Yeah, I know he's been wanting to prove himself, as you said, but
do you think he's ready?
I'm his father. I'll never think he's ready.
Spoken like a true parent. Okay. That I'm convinced.
If Miss Prim had not trusted me when I did not trust myself, I would not have learned. So I need to set a good role model, a good example for my son.
Okay. And I think Burton in his head is very much going, so you're sending him with me. Like, Ezra, he's totally like, yeah, that would actually be a really good and smart idea, and they're both armed and smart and intelligent. And then he's like, I am not a good role model.
And he's like, plus, he likes Bella.
That much is true.
Yeah, well. And I think I mutter under my breath, everyone likes Bella.
I know. Rezzi will look at Robyn and Lark. It's like, myself and my other friends will be at the disposal here. We may need to pack up.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of people to let know what's happening and get out of here safely without causing any further trouble. Burton, I can take care of Bella while you go if you like.
I think I might actually bring her with me, because if I am able to find some dog food, maybe, and this of all times, she has a preference. And people do seem to like her, sometimes more than me, so they might be a little bit more friendly if a person that looks like me shows up with a dog that looks like her. It's not going to be weird.
Okay. I think that Robyn walks over to you and says, "You'll be safe with Ezra and Levy. Just act like you're supposed to be where you go, and you should be okay."
Okay.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but maybe take a page from Ezra's book and be more forceful personality-wise.
Let's start out with a footnote before going to a page.
You are wise.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Maybe this will be easier. You deserve everything that we are looking for right now. Understand that? And walk in there with the intent of getting what we need.
Okay. And I think that's gonna even like just like it's like one thing. But yeah, that's like one thing stacking on top of another to make. Oh yeah, but yeah, Burton's feeling it. Burton feels surprisingly confident. This can't possibly go wrong. Yes. So on that note, which scene do we want to carry into first? I mean, it seems like the natural thing would be to go have Burton and Ezra and Levy go into town, but I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
I'm totally good with that. I mean, you're entering the wandering the wasteland, right? So I mean, we've got varied scarcities, we've got outlying gangs, and then we've also got society intact for when you're going to wander into that. We've got
they're kind of opposite of wandering the wasteland.
Well, it takes a major road. That's outlying gangs, right? Visits a marketplace is varied scarcity, and we've always got the earth itself. So
yeah, which anyone can feel free to take that, and I'll switch to something else later.
This sounds a lot like varied scarcities to me.
Yeah,
like that's the main one.
Yeah, we're very much leaning into that.
I'm fine with saying like the earth itself. I would just like either Barry or Bethany to take Levy's role in this scene. And I think as a father, I have armed him with a very sterling, not rusty at all 9-iron.
I'll take Levy. I'll take Levy. I will take 2 seconds to share this, but I have experience. So no, I know what it's like. Yep. It's from when I was very young, but I remember it like it was yesterday. Yep. Yeah, I'll take Levy. I do have like 2 questions about Levy though, which is like I know that you said that he's looking for an opportunity to prove himself. How much is that actually true, and how much of that is Rezzi like projecting that?
I think it's a mixture of like teenage enthusiasm plus like that sophomoric, well, I can do it better than anyone else. I know what's right kind of attitude teenagers get. Plus the fact that he wants to be, I think he's one of the few people that at that age that still think his parent is kind of cool. Because I mean, like, his dad runs a gang. And it's like, if I impress him, maybe I can like actually join, like, and stop being just like the mascot. And I think a lot of it is also Rezzi just like Rezzi remembers finding him as a baby. And it's like just like that parental thing of you like, I'm gonna look at your face and your chubby little cheeks, and I remember when I held you. And just so I think Rezzi knows Levy is like technically capable, but he does not want it to be proven.
Gotcha. Okay. The second thing is really just for like anyone that's going to handle any of the setting elements. Like, what do you see as like the best case and worst case scenarios for what happens with Levy out on this expedition? Like, I know that we've got as a line, extreme violence towards animals, kids. I don't know where this falls with Levy.
He's like 16, so I consider that like old enough to not be a kid. Like violence can be fault. It will hurt me, but it's the kind of hurt I can stand and would look for as a player.
Okay. Anything else? Like I not that I want to set the set up like the stakes for like, oh, this has to happen or anything. I just want to make sure that like that people are equipped to the degree that makes sense. What do you see as like the best case scenario for Levy going out on this trip?
Probably, like as I said, like, showing up. Like, oh, they have younger people with them. Maybe they do need their supplies.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
like actually proving himself, basically.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Levy doesn't have moves, so I'm just gonna play him. And because I'm taking him out, I'm gonna put down the varied scarcities for someone else to pick up.
Great. I guess I'm varied scarcities then, since I'm the only one not in the scene. So I will be varied scarcities.
Are you in Barrett? Are you in the scene as well, or no?
That's true. Would you want to be varied scarcities, and I'll be
I picked up. I picked up Earth itself and the Psychic Maelstrom.
All right, either of those going to be relevant?
I thought the Earth itself was. If not, I will be varied scarcities.
Okay.
I'd say pick up varied scarcities for now.
Gotcha.
All right. In that case, I'll keep gangs or society attack. But whoever wants to pick up society intact, if it becomes relevant, can do it. That's what we usually end up doing. It's just like, hey, I have an idea for this. I'll just pick it up right now.
So Ezra, I think that like as soon as we're out of earshot of the house, Levy turns to you and says, "So what's the plan? Are we going in front, or is that guy going in front with the dog? And what are we doing?"
All right. Okay. She's like immensely amused by how energetic Levy is. Okay. It's not the best idea for us to lead this charge.
Okay, so we sneak in the back. I got it. Okay, awesome.
Just make sure that nothing catches us from the back. Okay?
Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay.
Oh my god, you're so cute.
Why does everyone say that? Ugh.
It's okay, Levy. You're not cute.
Not helping.
All right.
Yeah, well, remember that next time.
Why'd you have to make it weird?
Because I'm not.
Okay, everyone just get what they need and let's head out.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Tense.
Are you all right?
Yeah. And I think the effects from like the leftover effects that he was like trying so hard working overtime to like forget about, like as they were leaving the house, they finally worn off, and he's like actually like trying to relax right now, but it's like he's almost got a bit of like leftover shivers. Just like yeah, I'm good. So Bella and I take the front then?
Exactly. We don't have time for you to get over whatever this is.
I'm over it already.
That's convincing.
I'm over it already.
No, it's like he probably is, because like Dad can never tell, like, when people are high. It'll be fine. Oh, you're straight, Burton. Let's go.
Thanks, Levy. Let's go. Yeah.
On this most uncomfortable car ride.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Are you in a car? You
I don't think.
have stolen a car. Like,
Are we hot wiring a car?
I'm way down for that. You are the one to do it, right? That's fantastic.
There's also an alternative to that, and that is if I got to use one of my strong moves, I could reveal a previously unmentioned skill.
Are you hot wired a car today?
Yep, I'm hot wiring a car today.
Oh, that's delightful.
Yeah, that's what I have a decent amount of tokens. I figure I might as well use one to, like, I think it's even as simple as, like, they find a car and it's
okay.
like
so as you leave this neighborhood, you start to see other areas that are so where we've been, it's clearly been abandoned for like a couple years. And as you kind of walk toward town, you notice that, like, oh, you're in a neighborhood that has only, like, it's still empty, but the yards are still mowed. And you realize you're getting closer to the institute, but you do, like, there's a car in one of the driveways. Not like, sort of, there's almost, you can almost, like, see the line between these two neighborhoods, like, and you see this car, and it's in front of a house with very fresh spray paint on it. It's not the same symbol. It's like a kind of like 3 triangles pointing out, almost like a star, but only with 3.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this car sitting in the driveway. Looks, in good shape.
And I think, if I may add one more detail, like in the like where there would be a bird bath is some kind of ornate shrine to something.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, now that I have that context, I'm feeling a little less inclined to hotwire a car.
It will cut our travel time a lot shorter.
Plus, if it's gone, if they really miss it, you can bring it back.
It'll give us more time to get the medicine and the food and the water that we need, and get back and get out.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll still use the strong move to go, well, okay then, guess I'm gonna hotwire this car.
I feel like Ezra is a little bit impressed that you have this capability.
Yeah.
Levy
and
is super impressed that you have this capability. He thought you were lame.
Yeah, and I think that it's one of those things where, like, as Burton's doing it, he's muttering under his breath, like, that I think this was actually something his dad taught him how to do, like, before the apocalypse even happened, and just kind of, like, muttering under his breath about how it was just like, it's amazing how I thought that this skill wouldn't ever come in useful because I used to just be such a suburban person, and now I'm doing this for I've lost track of how many times. And, like, as he says times, car starts.
And when the car starts, Levy says, did you ever get caught doing this? That's amazing.
Also, when the car starts, the door of the house, like, just slams open to the point where it, like, actually, normally a door slams closed, but this one opens so hard that it, like, hits the wall.
Shit.
And you don't see the person coming out, you just see the barrel of the gun.
And like Levy ducks down in the car and says, "Shit, go, 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 go."
Yeah. And since yeah. I'll just go for it.
Ezra like slams the window with the business end of her shotgun, just in case. Oh yes, to have a clear shot if they were to exchange fire. Just go.
Yeah, and Burton surprisingly floors it. Like, he hits that gas pedal so hard, it's like, what the heck?
Does he remember how to drive?
Oh yes.
Okay, good.
It's clear that whatever he used to do before the apocalypse, he's done a lot of driving in the apocalypse. In fact, it may have been even one of the things he was doing right before he got caught for the Institute.
Awesome. So you hear a gunshot and like you hear it like kind of hit, like you it seems to have hit the car, but it doesn't seem to have hit any of you. So
yeah, I think like as I'm focusing on driving, I just kind of like say to Levy without turning my head, I'm thinking we don't return this.
Good idea.
We need to find a different way back.
Yep. Long, short way there, long way around back. Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna drive.
Ezra takes a pot shot while they're zooming away.
Oh my god. Rule number 13, never leave a trace. Okay, we're just okay.
You're
Bella,
like past that, buddy.
if I may do one thing as an NPC, Bella sticks her head out the window.
Absolutely. Once we're way out of range, Bella's gonna kind of like look. Yeah, I'll just like automatically roll down the window because I'm just like, yeah.
and as the holder of the outlying gangs, I am not gonna like make you go through even more of a rigmarole to get to a grocery store. So you get there.
Okay, cool. And I think with the adrenaline still rushing in Burton's whole body now, he's just kind of, parks, gets out of the car.
Oh, can I like interject something?
Oh, please.
So like the car presumably has like a radio or something in it, right?
Oh.
And Levy can't stop himself from like turning it on and screwing with it until something comes on.
Ooh, and since I am the psychic maelstrom,
I just wanted someone to have a chance to use the digital realm.
ooh, okay.
Oh. I currently have that.
Well, just because you're in the scene doesn't mean that you can't can't use it, right?
Yeah. So I think as they get closer to this like more intact neighborhood, the signals, like the stations start to flicker in and out. And as he's flipping the channels, they're just like small snippets of like commercial talk radio. And if everybody could give me like one sentence that we hear as we're kind of clicking through these.
I think we hear that like gas rations have been raised this week to 3 liters per 3 liters per person. But then we hear the cost of what that is, and in like we have not been using money, and so the number sounds weird. Like it doesn't translate to like mushrooms or any other currency that we've dealt with.
Yeah, like the channel flips, and there's this very like matronly voice, like Paula Dean, Rachel Ray, that kind of thing, and you just hear like and with the water, add 1/4 cup coffee, 1/4 cup creamer, stir, and you will be able to talk to your dead loved ones.
Yeah, and I think the one right after that is, I think, it's actually fairly garbled, but the words you could make out are, "This is the dawn of a new age, a one where."
And there's just some music. Just music. None of you recognize it. Uh, who knows what era it's from? It's there's not even singing. It's like some violins and that sounds like, I don't know, maybe a trombone. Who the hell knows? It's music though, and it's like the first recorded music you've maybe some of you have ever heard, but that any of you have heard in a long time.
And to sharply contrast against that, immediately after there's like a radio play, and someone talks about their lover being void touched.
Yikes.
And if I may, just like because I like them in real life, like the last thing you hear before like the radio like turns off because it's too jarring is a backward music station, which are just like these Silent Hill-esque shrieks of like metal and groaning with like maybe 6, 2, 1, 1
Number
point.
station.
Yeah, number stations.
Yeah, and that sounds like a great point for, I think, Burton actually to like hit the radio button and just kind of look at Levy and go,
Come on.
"We're here. Let's not waste any of this battery or whatever." And radio does that.
Whatever gas we have left, we have to siphon and take with us. So we can't waste it.
Yeah. Which reminds me, and I'm actually going to go ahead and make sure that the AC is off. Which actually explains why Bella immediately went to stick her head out the window. Dog's like, "Breathe!
Please."
Okay, yeah. And now this is when Burton kind of gets out of the car. I think before I said he was like, sort of got that adrenaline rush, but now like that's actually sort of a mix between adrenaline and more like feeling very unnerved, because I think he doesn't go out of his way to listen to the radio anymore because it often ends up sounding like that, and it just gives him more stuff to think about, and he's got to focus. So, yeah, I'll turn to the others and. Okay, so what's our, I hate to say plan of attack because it sounds like we're going. Okay, what's our plan of attack?
And you guys are outside the grocery store, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I want to trigger varied scarcity, and like just to make sure this is like a sort of like a war rationing time. Like this is not, the apocalypse hasn't touched this as much as it has where we are, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think like
outside intact.
Yeah, I think like there are like, this is like a Kroger's, a Publix, whatever is like close to you, but outside are like this really huge like Icelandic looking woman with a sledgehammer, and like this big guy who looks like a Rob Liefeld, like 2 refrigerators taped together as a man, with this huge crowbar, and they're standing parallel to the door, and there's like this older woman like stamping ration coupons, letting people inside.
Oh boy. Do we have ration coupons? Or are we using, and I gesture to Bella, that ration coupon?
So, unless you want a scene about getting ration coupons, you totally found some in the house.
Cool. And I think we also maybe just check the glove box. It was either the house or the glove box. Either way, we've got them. And I'm perfectly happy.
I did have like a wad of them in the glove box to use as barter.
Oh yeah, we're taking those. We're not going back. We're taking everything.
That was his whole livelihood.
Oh, this will not come back to bite us at all. Yeah, so it could be, but I think I think Burton is going to make a move for the entrance with Bella, and then just he only gets a step before he's like, do you two want to come with, or?
I don't think you can redeem all those on your own.
Right. No, I wasn't suggesting I would. Okay.
The people that are like walking in and like getting their stuff taken, or like their tickets taken or whatever, like on a scale of Burton to Levy, what do they look like?
I think like there's some there's rations on everything, so like there are no new clothes. Like a lot of clothes are like patched together kind of things, but Levy is different from most gang members. He doesn't have the tattoos. He doesn't have anything. He looks sort of just like a young, normal Latino kid, and but well, with a golf club that obviously looks like it's more for heads than golf balls. But I think most of these people look tired. Like maybe there are times to come here, or maybe it's just like this is just so tedious.
Okay. I think that Levy shows like a moment of like restraint in his instinct, and just opens the passenger door back up and like puts the golf club in there, because that club is definitely, or that sledge that the person at the door has is definitely going to overpower and bend the hell out of it, if nothing else.
Yeah. We're proud of you.
Right. And if when you say that to Levy, he rolls his eyes at you. He's like, "You're not my mom."
You wish I was your mom.
No, I mean, to be quite honest, it actually was pretty impressive. But... Okay. On that wonderfully awkward note, gonna head on. Yeah. Oh man, just yeah, that's true. So I think that Burton will go up with Bella. He'll have two of the ration coupons out in case Bella needs one too.
And I'm assuming again there's a lot of them, and they're allotted for certain things.
Yeah, you'll see things on it like beer, like not like even sort of like maybe it'll be branded like Miller Lite 1 6-pack.
Okay.
So it's just trading it for something better.
Yeah. And I mean, I think I'll just kind of do a cursory search of the things that we have to see if there's anything specifically for dog food. Because, like,
Yeah.
if there's anything like that, it might make even the process a tad easier.
Ezra's flipping through them for medicine and coffee.
Good plan.
There are things for coffee, tea, and you find like the ones that seem rare, like if you're going like collectible card game kind of route, are meat, booze, and pharmacy items. But you find one coupon for like 1 pound meat, herbivore or better. Like one if you have a cold, you may redeem for cough syrup. If you have allergies, you may redeem for antihistamines. Like 3 different medicines you can redeem, and one for an actual bottle of whiskey.
Okay, so probably meat then.
But no, there are sadly a lot of there are a lot of like pet food coupons, but it does not look like they're used for pets anymore. Like this is like poor people food.
Oh. Well, on that sober note,
I'm pulling the one for whiskey because it's good trading fodder.
yeah, no, I'm like hell. I'm stopping you. Yeah.
Straight whiskey and an age.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll just I'll head in, I guess.
I'm pocketing the rest of them so it doesn't look like we've outright stolen all of these.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Yeah, you get up there, like the people in front of you, I think you're in line a little bit, and the people up front, you hear like the woman's like, "What do you have today?" And this guy's like, I need coffee. I need it's like, and I have something for beef ramen. And she looks at the coupon for beef ramen, like pulls out this weird device that scans. It's like forgery, and places it down. Like the other 2 are real. And she turns like the big woman, Samantha. Watch this one. And he walks past her. The electronic doors open, and gets in. And I think the big woman follows him out. But like someone else comes to take her place, who's less threatening looking, but still not imposing.
Yeah.
And she looks at you. She looks at you 3 or 4. Is Bella with you?
Yes. Bella is absolutely with me.
And she looks down at Bella. Huh. Haven't seen one of those in an age.
Yeah, well.
You coming for spices for her?
If that was a real gasp, I'm going to be looking at... at Ezra. Or were you just making a...
No, that was a me as a person. Me as a human being.
Oh! Burton is slow like me. And I'm just gonna... And like there's a moment where I'm like... no, actually gonna get some... We're here to get some supplies, and I'm gonna just kind of dole out some of the dog food, and I think I am going to dole out the meat coupon.
And she looks at the dog food. It's like, there's one problem. We only have Mighty Bitch in. No gravy train. Is that okay?
Yeah. And I actually, to rewind a tiny bit, I look down at Bella and I just go, is that okay? And yeah, she just kind of, I think she kind of looks at me, looks over at this woman, and then looks back at me and just starts panting. And I'm gonna like, just go, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, she roughly stamps the coupons, and then she looks sort of nervous. Like, may I ask a favor?
Go on.
Can I pet her?
Ma'am, she may be my dog, but she chooses who pets her. And I don't think Bella's necessarily going to have a problem unless someone...
And you'll see, like, she has this very wistful look. Like, she's not, there's no hunger in her eyes as she pets Bella. There is just a sadness.
Oh.
And you can't tell if it's, like, for her own dogs, for better days, or for what.
Okay. Well. Yeah, I think, even Burton's face softens a little bit, because I think he's seen this happen before, but I think after the whole Institute thing, his guard had gone up quite a bit, and now he's kind of... I think he's reminded of what he has, and with that, he'll let her pet Bella for a bit, but then kind of bring Bella in with him.
That almost sounds like the an ending note for that scene, even though you haven't gotten anything. Like, it still like feels
yeah, and because of how long
specific they wanted to do.
We don't need a shopping montage.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to like hold up a sign that says the word shopping montage, and we're good.
Let's port in the 28 days shopping montage.
I have one quick question just to get an idea of like Levy's experience of this. Can Levy read?
Levy can read, but only because Rezzi has taught him.
Okay.
Rezzi has tutored him in as much as he can. Like, he doesn't know the classics. Like, the classics to him are Goosebumps or maybe like the first 3 books of Game of Thrones. Like, he does not have a wide reach. He just has some stuff.
Well, I just wanted to have some idea of like how foreign the notion of the grocery store is to him.
It is very foreign. He grew up outside of this world.
Yeah.
Like a store full of stuff is like a Target.
that you trade paper for, apparently. Yeah. Yeah, I think he was keeping his cool outside because of like the obvious like implication of violence, but then like inside it's just like I think it's just question after question to like first to Ezra, and then when she gets obviously sick of him, then to Burton.
Just like all the sweets. It's just like, and what are these? Why are they weird colors?
Right.
Yeah.
What's a Jello?
Yeah, and
how do we get these?
We can't. All we have is rice and dog food and 1 bit of meat.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I just wanted to have that just like that brief moment to figure out like what it looked like for Rezzi. So like that's plenty for me.
Yeah, and I think just as a no, I think I'm good actually.
One society intact type of question. Burton looks like he fits in.
Yeah.
Levi somewhat, and then Ezra is not, does not fit in. How is the general like atmosphere once they're in the store?
Following you around the store.
They
didn't
for sure
from going in, but you were being watched. So maybe don't try to steal anything. Or maybe try to steal something.
I'm like, I left my
They look like
shotgun
they might
in the
want
car.
you to try to steal something just for an excuse to like have some action because they're pretty bored. But
They're like, let me fight someone, please.
Yes.
Oh, this is a surprise. I'm sure Burton just thinks it's odd and doesn't get the idea that they're bored or anything. He's just like, yes, a tense situation as usual. This is what I'm used to.
Actually,
But
so
yeah.
it's 10. We should probably take another break since it seems to be a good breaking time. Oh, I do have one question. Did you find a post office?
I want to say that for this sake, and just because I think we're going to jump over to the other, whatever next scene happens when we come back, I think that on their way out of the grocery store, Burton does see at least like a box, and he does just kind of jog over and drop it in.
It's probably directly across from the grocery store, so that
That's what I was thinking.
Guarded at the same time.
Yeah.
I kind of super want to see Lark and Rezzi in a scene together because Rezzi's gang leaks psychic energy or bleeds psychic instability.
Yeah.
I would totally be down for that.
There's a thing I want to do first, I think. Since it's reached the point where like we have to leave real soon. This is what Lark was originally coming to tell Robyn they were going to do because of Ezra's insistence. I would have been Ezra or Rezzi. It seems like an Ezra thing, like insisting that everyone has to tell everybody else, or someone else where they're going.
I think Ezra would have initially stated it, and Rezzi might have backed her up on it. Does that sound like it tracks?
Yes.
It sounds like a sensible thing to do here, which means that at least half of the people are ignoring it at any given time.
You just hear her. It's like buddy system.
Yeah.
It's not hard, you fuckwat.
All I heard was system, and I'm gonna say down with it.
Yep. So yeah, I think.
Yeah. What I'm curious what you had in mind for that, because like you'd initially come to the ritual because of that, but then like we obviously got like pulled out of that, and then had the conversation that we had where some folks went off, and then we what?
Yeah, I think Lark waits until Rezzi isn't right there overhearing this and says, I'm gonna go to the last place I remember being and see what I can pick up. And they take something out of their pocket and they hand it to you, and it's a scalpel. And I am using a weak move there. As much as a scalpel is my signature weapon, it's my only weapon, so I'm lending you it. And they don't explain why they're doing this, or like why they're giving. I think you can figure out why they're going to where they're going. But they just hand you the scalpel and like.
Well, when you hand me the scalpel and arms touch, definitely want to open my brain to the world's psychic maelstrom because I don't know where you're off to. But maybe I can know, and that will tell me why you're giving me this now.
Ooh, okay. Then, as the psychic maelstrom, I want to ask Lark a few prompts. What do you feel when you're giving this weapon away?
I think a combination of, it's not, doesn't feel great to like walk into the forest unarmed in this place and time, but more than that, kind of relief.
Yeah, and I think I think I can work with that. So from what Robyn feels is Robyn takes the scalpel, I assume, correct? And like there's almost like this relief, like you've popped a burgeoning pimple or like lance to boil, like a rush of badness coming out and like laying bare on the surface, and it's perhaps going to be that for Lark. This and I think like it like sort of like that again, that feeling of the fluid almost like leads you like you would be able to follow her if you followed like the feeling of the liquid, but like, you don't get like the perfect sense of where she's going to be, but you could find her.
And
then.
Yeah, and I think that like feeling that, like I'll lock eyes with you, Lark, and like I'll take the scalpel and I like I look at my arm, I look at like the measure of like fabric that's on there, and then like just below my elbow, I actually take the scalpel and slice the fabric, and like unravel it from my wrist down, and then like fold it and cut it in half, and like I set the scalpel down, and like I take this and like I can feel like this open wound, almost, and like I take like one of each of these pieces of fabric and I wrap one around your left hand and one around your right hand, and then like taking both of those in my hands, I say, you know how to find the way back, right?
To here, yeah.
Do you know how to? Will you be able to find us if we need to leave before you get back?
Yeah.
And then
this game makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, Robyn laughs at that and then takes the scalpel and puts it in like a puts it in the like a small plastic case that when she opens it, there are like a bunch of files in it. So she puts it in there with those, closes it up, and then like puts that into like a fold in the robe that she's wearing, and she, you know what? I'm going to spend a token, and I'm going to ask, what are you afraid that you're going to find out there? Specifically, I can spend a token to ask what your character's greatest fear is.
Right. So I'm afraid that this is totally going to work. I'm going to open my brain to the psychic maelstrom. I'm going to see, like I'm going to remember exactly where I went, and also I'm going to remember in detail who I killed, why, and that I actually did.
And then Robyn says, "You don't have to go."
Yeah, I do. It's all just locked in my brain, buried, and I have to uncover it. Just I'll get us home. It's
Just
fine.
be safe and come back.
Yeah, I will. It's fine. I just, you know, Ezra's always saying we should tell people where we're going, so I'm doing that. Don't worry, I'll be back.
I think we should probably cut that there unless we want to, unless the psychic maelstrom has anything else to like to enter into sensory experience or whatever. You good? Okay, cool. Do you want to go have your moment with Rezzi then on the on your way out?
I think I try to sneak past Rezzi, but Rezzi can totally see this.
I think
I'm going to draw unwanted attention to my movements.
Okay, I don't think it's Rezzi that notices you. It's Velour.
Oh, great!
And like you're trying, like, you know, you're doing the like sort of the stereotypical sneaking things, like, you know, ball heel foot or heel ball foot kind of thing, and you just hear this sibilant silken voice coming from like the doorway that you're almost at. Oh, Henny, where are you headed to? And I imagine Velour is this like gender queer, like looks kind of like a mannequin brought to life, very angular, very thin, very flat.
Nowhere important. I'll be back.
Oh, Henny. Everywhere we go is important now. We're a family.
I'm just stepping out for a little bit. I'll be back. It's fine. It's nowhere.
And
I don't need any help or anything. I just.
Oh, dearie me. I think you do. I mean, what do you carry for defense? That paltry little blade?
I don't need defense. I stay out of fights.
But if you're going out into the big, bad world all by your lonesome, what if someone else came and saw you?
I lived in the wasteland for 2 years. I think I can handle myself.
I don't think you can.
Fine. And I pick up like whatever's a stick of, you know, whatever's on the, you know, ground.
And
I'm like,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Pick it up. All right, I'm armed. See you later.
And you turn around and like you feel these smooth fingers like sort of massaging your shoulders, which I'm sure is completely.
That's not. Yeah, I think I just like reflexively that thing I picked up just goes like straight back.
And like Velour like sort of like jumps, and like you would have hit them if they had not like jumped. It's like, ooh, you are in the dramatic massive attack mode. Maybe I was wrong, Henny. Go where you need to go.
Yeah.
Just tell me all about it when you get home, maybe over some coffee.
Sure, bye.
Toodles.
Yeah, and I leave and like I feel a little bit bad about it because I did not actually intend like that. It was just, you know, like somebody, you know, touches you from behind and you.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just reflex, like, but also, it worked. So okay.
Yeah, the creepy person stopped touching you. It worked.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
I think you're leaving, and probably Valor is going to go tell Rezzi what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, to make Valor look as good as possible, but
yeah. Yeah, I could. What does Fuller tell Rezzi? Because I'm kind of interested.
Because you distrust Valor, and I think there's a reason for that. I think Valor tells Rezzi that you left, and you're like Valor's worried for you. That Rezzi needs to go after you. Rezzi needs to see what's going on, and like I think Valor's power is combat empathy, for lack of a better word. They make you feel what they want you to feel on like this low subliminal level, and like the worry dripping off of them is fake, but Rezzi believes it's real.
Oh, nice. Incredibly creepy, but
yes. So yeah, like I think like a little while after let's see. Did Valor tell Rezzi that they went out without saying anything? What do you mean, Sarabelle?
Like, did Valor say that, oh, I found Lark and they were heading out and they hadn't told me and they hadn't told anybody else? And I was just concerned that way.
I think that's what, like, yeah, Valor is doing. It's like, I'm so worried. Like, they look like they have the world on their shoulders, and it just won't end well, Rezzi.
Oh, I hate them already.
I do too, and I love hating them. And like Rezzi will grab I think Rezzi has this chain with these 3 padlocks on it, like a flail, and this long rusty pipe with a railroad spike going through the end he uses to hit people, and it's just like, okay. He feels he owes it to Lark because he fucked up so badly this morning. He owes it to everyone.
The funny thing is, I don't think Lark is going all that far. Where they're going, and they like stop on the other side of the road and drop the, I'm gonna say crowbar just for the hell of it. Just like drop it at the side of the road and walk into the woods. And there's a point where the woods goes from like lush and green to where there's a lot of dead trees with like charred trunks. Like there's some live ones, but they're scattered among these dead ones. And
wait. Is this the Earth?
This is the Earth. Yeah, sure.
Got it. Earth itself. Okay. Took me a second because I was like, I'm so in the Burton mindset that I forget that I also need to be part GM sometimes, which is weird to me. I'm not used to that
yet, so now's your chance to whatever Earth itself stuff you want.
Yeah. Sorry, I was really caught up. So could you repeat like the last bit of what you were saying, and I'll lead in?
Yeah. So there's I think. Like I said, I think Lark only goes, just a little ways into this, but it's like there's kind of nice, lush green forest, and then there's like a real faint trail on the ground, and then on the other side of it, there's an area with a lot of dead trees with like trunks charred up to 10, 12 feet up. That are just blackened, and there's some live trees in there too, with charred trunks, and there's some like young trees that have sprouted up, like real close to the ground. But there's a lot of dead trees, and I think Lark takes it just goes a few tens of yards into that area and then stops.
Okay, yeah, I think this is about the point that the wind kind of starts rustling, just the slightest bit. It would make sort of a whistling noise through the trees if there were more actual standing trees. But, you very much still feel that it's kind of like going through. And then there's kind of like a skittering of some kind as I think that there are actually a few. I think like a few small. I want to say squirrel-like creatures. There's something a tad bit off about them. I think it's the fact that instead of having like this curve to their tails that normally has like that sort of bushy thing going on, they very much have their tails are almost like completely straight with like an actual firmness to them where they're not being dragged around. It's like it's almost like a diagonal antenna of sorts as their tail, because it's just kind of like up at an angle, and you just kind of like can see them like it. You've got two of them, and like one's very clearly like kind of chasing after the other. For what intent, you're not sure, but besides that, you start to realize that it's clearly the quiet isn't unnerving, despite the look of everything. The feel is that nature is clawing its way back in to this particular area.
Yeah, and last time I saw this place, it was on fire. So, I mean, it's nice to see that it's growing back, right? And I'm totally fine with these weird mutant squirrels things. Like, hey, yay, animals are living here. Cool.
Yeah. That's what I've got for the Earth itself.
Okay. Yeah, so I like find I think I'm just looking on the ground, looking around at the trees. I find this particular spot that doesn't look any different from any other, but like it's like, okay, I remember there's that big fork tree. Okay. It's dead now, but that's it. I think that's it. I stop there at the foot of that tree and just stand there for a moment, like, okay, all right, fuck, I gotta do this. And I am going to open my brain to the world psychic maelstrom. I'm not using a strong move, so stuff can happen.
Oh dear. And I think what starts is like one of those squirrel creatures runs by and its tail twitches to like a certain angle, and you just hear like, "That's mine," and it runs off. Then like this other one runs by, like the tail hits that specific angle again. It's like food, you know. But and you start like it's like the radio. Like you start like focusing on these little words, and but like in your brain they begin rearranging themselves, like creating different words. And what are you specifically looking for?
I'm looking for where I went after this, because this is the spot where like this is the last place I remember being before the whatever happened. But like something happened. I have little brief flashes of memory of like walking a really long way for a long time, like weeks, months, who knows. And but my next like clear memory is of standing in the marsh, like being pulled into a boat in the middle of the queer enclave.
Yeah. And oh, I think like these words start like putting directions in your brain, and it's like you're walking and it's like right, left, like just different bits, and you start hearing what we would say like is a woodpecker. And like by the time you you end up like coming back at this tree, which has a lot of axe marks in it. And I think like maybe like this almost fossil like footprint that's not yours.
Huh. Okay.
So, just to play off of that a little bit for the Earth itself, I'm going to go ahead and use the move Leave Something Wounded. That footprint is still there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
But I think like the pain, like I think like what you like to add into what you're doing, like the trauma of that footstep is still there, and like you're looking down the axe marks, and the footstep fills with blood.
Oh, okay. Now that's yeah, I think that's when I'm like, okay, that's enough for now. That's enough, and yeah.
And so like you've like so you're snapping back from the psychic maelstrom.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, and you feel like these like what would almost be like spider webs like trying to pull you back in, and like finally like you hear like Rezzi's voice like, "Are you okay?" And like that like completely cuts all of the webs, and you're back to reality.
Yeah. I think I'm standing there. I think I just had this idea, or whoever's playing the Psychic Maelstrom could totally contradict me on this, but I think it's spending any time, in contact with it. It feels very cold, like swimming in deep water. Like no matter how fast you go or how much you're exercising, the water just kind of steals your body heat.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so like I snap out of it and I'm like, freezing even though it's warm out. And I turn around, probably looking a little, disoriented and like, shivering.
Ooh, I'm going to use one of my regular moves. I am going to tenderly care for Lark. And Rezzi has this kind of a Letterman jacket or like Hard Rock Cafe jacket, and he'll pick it off and like, sort of hand it over to Lark's like, you seem like you need this.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Put it on and kind of look around. And do I see a footprint? Or actually,
I think because of the earth itself, you do see like a footprint, but grass has been growing up. It's not fossilized anymore. Like it was deep, but like it is being reclaimed.
Yeah, in a way, the wound is there, but it's scabbed over.
right.
Yeah.
But you can, like, if you know what you're looking for, you can still see that there's a dent there, I guess.
Right, right.
Nice. Yeah, I think I just kind of get Rezzi. All right, I know which way we need to go, and I know how to find directions the rest of the way. It's not going to be fun, but I know how to do it.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
All that stuff they did to me in the institute. At least it'll be useful.
He I think like you've met like one of the few people that actually gets that, like all the things they did to you in the institute, and he gives like that knowing smile that's like you half pained, half like I survived.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you don't know exactly what you went through, but if it's anything like me, you're tough.
You have a pretty good idea of like what I think we all went through at least some of it. All right, we should probably get back and help pack.
Yeah, and Rezzi just looks he's like, well, Valor said that you might need help, but you seemed quite capable out here.
Valor is, I wouldn't believe everything Valor says.
Really? Valor's been by my side since I can remember.
I don't know. He's just. I think he's. Anyway, he was wrong about this.
I'll make a note of that. I think like Rezzi turns around, but like accidentally steps in the footprint as he's turning around.
Yeah, you see like a little flinch, but I'm not saying anything about it.
and he's not looking at you, so he doesn't see the flinch. Yeah. And he, but he has his rusty pipe out, and he's sort of like moving branches out of the way, holding things out of the way for Lark, being very kind and caring, and
yeah. And actually, I think as you guys leave, that's when behind you hear the sounds of an oncoming storm, the thunder, and things that accompany it.
And Rezzi just groans. Well,
clean water at least.
Yeah, and if a volcano shows up, at least it'll be a trifecta. Fuck us.
Yeah.
And Rezzi just looks at Lark like, I may need your help sometime soon. You can do, and he like motions at his tattoos again, like this stuff, but not contained, right?
Contained how?
He's like touches his face, like, I can do things, and these kind of help, I think. I was never trained. We left before we got to that part, but yours are open. Yours are accessible easily, right?
Yeah, a little too easily.
And he looks sort of ashamed. It's like, I want to know why I rely on drugs so much.
Okay.
Could you do that?
I can try. Yeah.
Yeah. Once we get back, not anything. Holding the thing. Not now.
Okay. Yeah. Good point. That storm's coming.
I think I'm fine with the scene ending there.
Yeah,
if you
I think
are.
that scene.
If that scene ends there, do we want to either jump to the return trip or the return arrival of the rest of the group? Or what are we feeling?
I could kind of set the scene for what that looks like what's going on with the community when you come back, if that works.
Yeah. How long do you think it's been in this 24 scenario?
Well, I'm seeing that like you all left like a couple of hours after we got this ultimatum, and I think that it was probably like not long after that that Lark went out into the wild, and I think that's when I started like going around to let people know what was happening. And I think that the message that I was giving them was that the wolves are circling us, and that they are that we are in their den. That the things that are here may rightfully be theirs, and so it's time for us to move on with the things that we've brought here. But the wolf is hungry, and if it can't find its meal in this place, then surely it will follow us. And so I think that what I'd like to do by doing that is appeal to prophecy or cosmic forces with that, if that works for y'all.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm game.
Cool. And so I'm telling people, like, pack collect the things that you brought here, but if it's something that you've been using since we arrived, just because we're using this doesn't make it doesn't make it ours. We need to leave this place like we were never here. To feed this wolf. What I'm curious about is who takes issue with that. Like if there's any of our defined NPCs or whatever who would want to try and rally any kind of like internal resistance to that message. If so, cool. If not, also cool. Just figured I would like set up some possible grist for next week. Either way,
I think Kit doesn't verbally protest, but just takes things anyway.
Oh, that's perfect.
Stuff that would come of value later on, like a couple first aid kits, morphine, like things that are of value in case we get into a scuffle.
Okay. And I think that like Kit specifically, when Robyn comes to them, I don't see pronouns. But when Robyn comes to Kit, I think that like she specifically talks to them and says, I really do mean it. If there's ever a time to for us to make do with what we find on the road, I think that it might be now.
And they will nod and agree.
Yeah, okay.
But there are like little stashes on their person and just pouches buried under like food and supplies that they know about.
Have I cut Kit's hair, or have I done a bloodletting for Kit? Do I have reason to believe that they're like that they're receptive to my message?
I feel like you have cut Kit's hair.
Okay. Then like I'm
bloodletting is a line I don't think they've crossed yet.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, like if they've trusted me with that, then like that's obviously a very like that's a whole thing. So yeah, so I don't have any reason to like suspect that they're going to cause any trouble with it, and we can find out like if that causes trouble in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that when the when the envoy like comes back, I think that like the things that we have been able to get wheels onto, I think people have like brought out of the dwellings and sheds and like the like I'm guessing that like one of these like we're far enough out that like one of these places probably has like a big pole barn or something that we've been keeping all of these all of our little like shanties and stuff in, and so I think like people are trying to like trying to get our like the tents and whatnot that we've collected loaded up onto these, but I mean, when you're coming back, are you all coming back in the car? Or are you ditching the car?
Burton definitely thinks about ditching the car, but also like even if they ditch it, they need the gas and anything else from that that they can get. So
we've already committed. There's no reason to ditch it now.
Yeah, I think also it's one less car Burton has to re-hotwire.
And if we don't need it later on, we can always trade it or scrap it.
Sounds good to me.
When you say trade it, Rezzi's like, or I'm not Rezzi, Levy's like mind just like spins for a second about like what could we trade a car for, but then when you say scrap it, he's like,
We'll try trading it first. Might be worth more as a whole than the individual sum of its parts.
But scrap metal has its value.
I'm not saying it doesn't. We'll see. We've got a ways to go anyways. And I think once I get back, I think, one of the odder things is the fact that Burton is driving like,
Well.
Yeah. So I think
he uses his turn signal even now.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh god. It's absolutely a thing Burton does, but it is not something Burton realizes he's doing unless someone else points it out.
Who are you signaling for? There is nobody here.
What are you talking? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm doing that. And he literally like he's so used to like almost driving with one hand that like his like he has to like force his right hand onto the wheel so that both hands are on it, because that way he's not going to be like, oh, I'll just do this and do that. And he's like, wow, I'm so glad nobody was following us.
This is great. This is hilarious. He's such a dork.
Oh, absolutely. Like this is a man who should not still exist in the apocalypse or in this enclave. And yet, like that is, I feel like that would be Burton's autobiography is, and yet.
He's carving his niche.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, I mean, if anyone else wants to jump in and react to the return, that's fine.
Well, I think like the car on the horizon or whatever, like we can hear it, right? And so I go to get Rezzi, not realizing that it's that it is y'all, and I say, I thought you said we had 24 hours.
I was told we had 24 hours. Fuck. Wait, they didn't. And like, can we see the car over the horizon, like coming towards us?
Yeah, I think we probably like we hear it and then we see it, right?
Like it takes a turn or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Rezzi looks like, oh crap, that wasn't what they were driving in. They said they owned this place. Were they lying to us too?
Just get ready in case.
Question for Rezzi.
Mm-hmm.
Would Levy know like a whistle or some sort of signal that their gang would use amongst each other to identify one another?
He probably does like know some kind of like weird bird call.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's finally Levy's turn to like get to lean out the window, right?
He's leaning out, and like Bella is right below him.
Yeah,
like
they're in the same window.
Yeah, no question.
Okay. Levy has to like make the noise, then Bella has to bark at like from it.
Yeah.
Bella thinks it's an actual bird.
Oh, that sets Bella off a little bit more than anyone's planning. Bella's like, bird, and it sounds, oh god, it's so loud.
And Rezzi starts like lowering his chain. It's like,
Shit.
I think these are our fools.
And like you can hear like the muffled by distance and the engine of the car, you can hear like someone like like trying to yell something until you finally hear, like, seeing the glint of the 9-iron being waved around. You finally hear, we got a car.
Rezzi's just like, oh crap. He better not have let him try to drive.
Yeah, I mean, and Burton's actually going to kind of park expertly. clear that, like, in another life, he was absolutely one of those drivers in Mad Max.
Needless parallel parking.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, no, you shouldn't be able to. Did you just? Okay.
I think as soon as it stops, like, I'm already looking around. Okay, what's the heaviest thing we managed to put wheels on? We're pulling that with the car.
Yeah. And I think Burton, in a rather surprising, I almost want to say cheerful mood, just kind of says, "We're back. No one died."
Ezra immediately is just like coming out with just like, you know, those moms that try to make grocery trips in one go.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm not coming back. So there's just lines of bags on her arms.
I do that too. Me, Peter, not Burton. I don't know what Burton does, but me, Peter, I definitely do that.
And
there's just a cry of, and we got whiskey.
and oh gosh, Rezzi would have liked that just a few moments ago, but I think Rezzi's coming out, trying not to run down the stairs to see his son.
Oh. Yeah, and I think when Burton kind of comes around and, Levy's right there, Burton will just kind of like, I think he'll like go to clap him on the back almost instinctively, and then just kind of like it stops halfway, and then he just kind of like gentle pats him and just goes,
Good job.
He was fine.
And like Rezzi's like, you can see he's like twitching, like he wants to like test his eye, check his teeth, do something. Probably way too parental. And
It's like, oh, Dad, we only got shot at. It was fine.
Oh, okay, yeah, that sounds good. I mean,
It barely even grazed us.
And he look, and like Rezzi's looking at the car. It's like I don't think he sees any like bullet, like I think he sees like maybe like the glass like a little bit chipped, like nothing went through. It's like no one died.
Yeah.
You can count us again.
Okay, and you see like there's this grimace on his face. Like, I guess we'll talk about letting you into the gang, Levy.
And like at that, like Levy is like takes the 9-iron, is like hooting and hollering with it. But then stops, and when the two of you like go to like walk away together, like he starts telling you about like how weird this like grocery store was. Like all of the things are in rows that are all put together, and like there's lots of different kinds of things, and you just trade paper for it. It's the strangest thing.
And Rezzi is enraptured. Rezzi's never been to a grocery store.
I'm a little bit curious. Is there any mention on Levy's part about Burton hotwiring the car?
I think Levy wants to. I think Levy's gonna let Rezzi just assume that like Ezra did it.
Sure.
And then hopefully like learn that from Burton on the low later.
Oh, okay. Kind of like in action instead of just like, well, let me tell you about this thing.
I mean, the car is here. Like that's the best part, right?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, and like since it's close to time, like I think I like this ending of like the credits coming up with just like almost an Andy Griffith shot of Rezzi and Levy walking towards the house.
Aww.
Yeah, I feel like also as it zooms out, you see like even just kind of off to the side, not the focus. Burton has opened one of the cans of dog food and is feeding Bella, because Bella's, kind of like started maybe just tiniest amount of whimpering, but like he's He's gonna make sure she's all right.
There's one thing I wanted to mention on when I have the scarcity thing. Once you left the grocery store, the checkout lady, the stamping lady, would have given you one dog treat, one dog bacon bit or strip or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that is definitely something that once we get back, that's what I'm giving her. Not the food yet. The food is being saved, but she was a good girl and she deserves the treat now.